All right, what's up, guys? We're back for another episode, and hold on one sec. There we go. We're back for another episode, and this week we've got Mr. Brian Bruce and Monk Newsome, Monk Daddy. So I think it'll be a great show, and Brian's already ready to come on here. But yeah, I think these two guys really, it was kind of ironic that they both won this week in VDKA, so it kind of works out. We got a little bit more to talk about. Got some questions in advance, a couple questions, I think, for Brian and people. And we can kind of go from there. And, you know, I've known Monk since I was a kid, running Junior 3 at Margarettsville, so I think we got plenty to talk about with these two guys and everything they've done and been through and been around, so it'll be great. And let's see. I don't think I have anything really to cover for this week. We're just waiting on weather to tell us what we're going to do at Del Mar, and we'll kind of go from there for the Diamond State 50. But you hear me good, Brian? All right. Yes, sir. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and bring Brian on. If you guys got any questions for him, go ahead and throw them in there on the comments. We'll ask Mr. Bruce. And then we will, we've got a couple questions for him anyway. So, but without further ado, Mr. Brian Bruce. 3, 2, and 1.
What's going on,
man?
What's up?
You in the car? You parked?
Yeah, I'm not driving. I'm being safe.
Okay, that's good. We're just checking in on you. So, like I mentioned, you won. That was your first Eagle, right? This weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like coming around, being around Monk racing when you first got into it and stuff like that, and then finally now to win your first Eagle? How was that?
Growing up, racing against Monk was pretty rough because I get beat all the time. I did get him one time. Don't let him lie to you either. But it was great having somebody like that on my side and helping me get to this first VDKA win. I mean, it was Predator, but hey, that close is pretty tough as it is. Everybody's dead even, so
you're right.
You got to be able to get at it.
Predator is it's a momentum class. It reminds me a lot of Flathead. It's a lot of competition because the steady hands on the wheel is what wins those races.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be consistent. Anything that takes speed away from you is going to destroy your race momentum. So you got to stay up on the wheel, for sure.
So, Brian, when did you start in racing, man?
I got into racing, I'd have to say probably the late 80s and early 90s. I started out as a buggy pusher when I was a little kid for people like David Collins and Kristen Phillips because my granddad was building their race motors and everything back in the day, and Michael Flagg and all them too. So I've been in it, but we didn't have the money for me to race when I was younger. So I did that till I went to the Marine Corps, and I went to the Marine Corps in 2003, and I did that for 11 years. And then on my last deployment, I was like, man, the first thing I want to do when I get back is start racing and actually get a chance to. So I came back in it, saved all my money from my last deployment, and then I want to say I bought a Triton off of Jerry Mullis, and he told me how to set it up and gave me tire advice and all that. And then I went to whatever the Spring Gobbler was. I think it was a Spring Gobbler in 2014, and I saw this guy in this big red go-kart destroying everybody in the EL class, and I was like, that's the class I'm going to run. So I started talking to him, and that ended up being Monk, and he kind of took me under his wing since. So I've had some help from some good people throughout the way, but I don't think anybody's helped me as much as he has, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of associate, when I see you at the racetrack, I remember seeing you with Monk at the time, like for a long time. And so I kind of associate you two together when I think of you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know what started you now in racing. So what keeps you in racing, man? What do you do to stay, like, Every time you come to the track, what keeps you coming?
I still love the people, man. I've made a lot of friends in the last 7 years, but like you and Dusty and Kyle and Monk and I mean just everybody at the track's my family. So it's fun to go out there and see them every weekend, every other weekend, and get to rub shoulders and have a good time, man. And it's the people for sure. And racing's fun. I mean, I love that too, but I enjoy hanging out with people. So that's my release. I like to be around everybody.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to like being around people being at the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially at the go-kart track, a little more so than some of the car tracks and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
what is, other than the VDKA win, what would you call your biggest moment in karting since you started?
I haven't really had many big moments because I take a lot of time to help Monk, and I like to do the buggy pusher thing because I feel like I learn more when I from a group of people like that. And then I finally, when I do get the chance to put it onto the track, it's nice, but I take a lot of time helping other people, so I don't really get much track time. So this year, I kind of having a baby at the end of the year. I'm trying to slow down a little bit, so I'm trying to get the Predator thing in one last time. I feel like that's gonna be my final go, and then I might. I'm not gonna say stop racing at the end of the year, but it's definitely got to slow down. I mean, you know how it is having a baby, so.
Yep, that I do, buddy. I think I've been on track 3 times in 2 years.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to prepare for that.
It's fun still being around the track every weekend, though. So even the baby can still come.
Oh yeah.
Hang out in the pits.
I'm gonna drop her off at your trailer.
Nah, not a chance. There's enough kids over there. Oh man. So I know, since you teamed up with Monk and you said you bought your first kart from Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
So who, other than Monk, well, I guess Monk would be your biggest influence in karting since you started back. But who else has had a really big impact on your karting?
The whole Ezel family and Mahanes and them have done a lot for me, and I built motors for a little while, or helped Kyle's dad Wayne, and he taught me a lot. So I got to understand more of what the motor's doing from Wayne, and then I learned a lot of different setup things. I didn't just stick to just strictly what Monk says all the time for a while, so I could learn a different avenue. But I would definitely say Monk would probably be the most influential person I've been around. But Steve-O, I've hung out with him a couple times at the track and helped him. Corey Roberts, I've learned a bunch from him. Um, Even just regular people on Saturday nights, I still pick up stuff from too. So
Yeah, I think it's great the people that you have been around, and that's elite company when you start talking about it. Monk and Steven Adams and Jared Mullis and guys like that. Not everybody gets those chances, and I think you have been lucky, but I think you've also utilized it really well, and I think you're a really well liked guy at the track, and people are a lot more willing to help somebody like you. So I keep up what you're doing with that, and man, I think a lot of different doors could open up for you. So
yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Chris Beasley said you're the Predator King.
I I don't want to be known for Predator, but hey, I'll take it.
I mean, you got to be known for something.
Yeah, at least they know me.
Yeah, I mean, Predator racing is definitely getting to be one of the bigger things around. Whether it's Virginia or up here in Delaware, or you go down to Georgia, South Carolina, they still run Predator.
Yeah,
Austin Yarborough, I believe, ran Predator too. Nobody is above Predator. It's not beneath anybody.
Yarborough didn't run it against me yet, though.
Oh, now the nickname might stick. If you can work out with that, Predator King.
Hey, I'll take it. I enjoy it. It's a fun class to run in as long as you tear nothing up, which is hard, but
it's more of a novice class, but not all novice. Like I said, Yarborough and guys like that have run it. So it's not. I've run Predator. Dustin ran Predator. He ran Predator Champ. I've run Predator Sprint, Predator Champ, and I I enjoy Predator. It's kind of slows you down in the moment, and you take in everything that's going on the track at the same time. So it kind of puts you more in the moment. But what probably I don't know about Predator being your favorite, but what's been your favorite class that you've ran?
Super heavy.
Animal or clone?
Um, I've only run super heavy animal at one time in Delaware, and I did pretty good when I was up there.
Yeah, you did.
But I think the clone, just because I don't know. I enjoyed it. I haven't got to run a limited yet. I'd really like to do that.
You and me both. Maybe our first time will be against each other.
Yeah. Monk tells me I'm not ready all the time, so I'm just gonna take his advice and not do it.
I hear that too. It's okay.
Yeah.
So being around guys like that, like Monk and Jerry and those guys, is not necessarily just the knowledge, but what is this like maybe a trait that you picked up from them that's really helped you along the way?
A big thing from I'm gonna say Monk again, but the big thing from him is and Kyle, they always tell me to quit pussyfoot and hold it wide open. So I feel like you can, the more you strive to not get yelled at by them all the time, it's just the more you'll push the go-kart harder and harder and harder, and eventually you'll get to where you need to be. You just got to keep pushing, keep trying it. It takes a little while to build some nerves because a lot of people that don't race don't understand like how fast it actually is and how much you actually are pulling G-forces. Like I laughed at people when they're like, "Oh, you're gonna fall out the seat in the Predator," and I missed probably a year, and I went out there in Predator, and by lap 20, I was laid over like this, and I'm like, man, I can't. So a lot of people don't appreciate the toll it takes on you, but it's pretty intense sometimes. So I can only imagine what running like limiteds and open modifieds would be like. But that's always a big dream of mine, is to run a big motor class.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. And I think too the physical fitness is not something that you can go in the gym that you can work on every single week. You got to be in a cart. You got to ride to
Yes.
get. You got to be back in race shape.
Yeah, time's big.
Yeah, seat time is really big. And I noticed you've gotten a little bit more of that, lately running here or there with the Predators and on Saturday nights and stuff like that. How much do you think that played a factor in how well you were able to run at that VDKA race? Because you ran really strong in both classes.
I think it's big, man. I want to say the last probably month and a half, I've done nothing but run Predator. So I've definitely gotten used to it. So compared to when I first went out there after not being in a seat for a while, even running 40 laps, my head didn't lean over this time. So it's able for you to race harder and try to push the go-kart more, being more into the seat, more physically fit. So it definitely helps getting more seat time for sure.
So when just a little rewind, you said your grandpa used to build motors for a lot of the guys that you buggy pushed for.
Yeah.
Was there a moment when you stopped and you kind of looked around? And how old were you when all this was going on?
Probably it was from when I was a baby. I was going to the racetrack, and I didn't start really like going to the racetrack a lot till I was probably 8 or 9. And then I started making friends when I was a little kid. So of course I always wanted to go to the track and be with them. And then I really started to get into the racing aspect of it. So like me and Michael Flagg, I remember when we were in like middle school age, and I actually had hair on my head, and I used to run around the neighborhood with him playing games. And then we go to the racetrack, and David Collins, like I was with him all the time, and we would just, I don't know, man. I was just always, the mechanical aspect of it. I just loved it when I was younger. So I would always be there changing oil and tires and trying to learn kart setups. And back in the day, it was a little easier because karts weren't as technically complicated as they are now. You say they didn't even have the toe and caster and all that crazy stuff like they do now, and the axle adjustments. So it was pretty fun when I was younger, and I was just into it so much that it was just my life. And then I ended up 9/11 happened, and I decided I was going to go and be a Marine. So I did that.
Well, we've mentioned before on here an organization. I don't know if you saw it before, Racing for Heroes,
Mm.
and I think that's a great organization, and kind of it shows the appreciation for the guys that want to go run those cars and stuff like that, and it kind of gives them a thank you. And I know you don't talk about it really when you're at the racetrack much, but I just wanted to say myself thank you for what you did, what your service and coming in and doing all that, because not everybody wanted to do that. Not everybody could do that, but somebody had to do it, and I appreciate that it was you.
Yeah, man, me too. It was definitely a journey.
I'm sure it was, and look where it's landed you now. Look at all the different people that you've met and all the cool stuff you got to experience. Different stuff you got to experience because of that, and it's definitely a life journey for sure, and it'll take you places you never thought. But as soon as you came out of the Marines and you said you said you thought about it as soon as you were done, you wanted to race.
Mm.
Did you know where exactly you were going? Capital City?
Oh yeah, because I grew up in Capital City.
So what about Capital City other than growing up there? Is there something that just keeps bringing you back? Because I mean, you've been around a lot of different tracks, a lot of different people that run a lot of different places. So,
well, Capital's my home track, so there's kind of everybody has a soft spot for their own home track. So I enjoy being there. You got the Beasleys that are there, and they're like family. Anybody that shows up to that racetrack, so it's always enjoyable going there and hanging out with them. And I'll have to say, this year actually they're doing a great job with that racetrack. It's been fast every time, even on the regular Saturday night races we've gone there, and it's been a really fast racetrack. So kudos to them actually this year for putting that on for everybody every weekend.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The track's been great, and if only I could go fast on that fast track now. But I know Elaine. I told her that I mentioned to her that you were coming on, and she thinks really highly of you. Chris thinks really highly of you. You're one of those people at the racetrack that you say Brian, and everybody just says, "Oh, Brian Bruce," like they know who you are. And how does it feel now when you're looking back to like when you started to knowing now that many people just associate like, oh, if somebody says Brian, it's got to be Brian Bruce.
Oh, it's definitely a blessing. I enjoy it. I'm glad that I have those people on my side. They're fun. They're fun to talk trash with. That's for sure.
Yep. And I got one more question for you, actually. Not just one more, but I got some more. One question. Elaine said, can you tell us the 2 reasons you race go-karts?
For the money and the pit lizards.
For the money and for the pit lizards.
Yeah. And her and Kendall are my top pit lizards.
Her and Kendall. Oh.
Yeah.
I know she's watching. She said she was going to be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And she said it's your dynamic personality.
We'll tell her thank you.
What's up, Michael, in the comments? Back on track. Where were we? Elaine, I lost my spot. Okay, we talked about, when you were a kid and you were around the racetrack and growing up with your grandpa building motors and what brought you back to Capital City. Brought you back to Capital City. Is there a series that you've been wanting to run and just haven't had time to go run it?
The AJC series. That looks
AJC.
yeah, man, that looks like a pretty awesome one to run. I see. Is that the one they're doing in Georgia, that Swainsboro, or this weekend? What is that? What series is that? They're paying like $2,000 for Predator to win.
I believe so. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that one up. I haven't been able to follow the AJC as much as I'd like. I saw Doug Sturley's interview that he did with the AJC, and ever since then I haven't seen much.
Yeah, that one looked like a fun one. I miss their series that I miss. I miss the Mid-Atlantic. That was a fun one, and the Tri-State series. I always wish I could have done something in that, but that's long ago now.
It was AKRA at Capitol was always really good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
always sure. A really strong race. What about a bucket list track for you?
I don't know. I ran at a lot of them already.
By the way, Andrew Epps says 7,500 for Pro Clone.
Yeah, that ain't my class, big dog.
How about Possum Kingdom?
Actually, yeah, that'd be one right there. That'd be a good one. I went there with Monk and helped him out, and he did pretty good at it when we went. But that'd probably be the biggest track I'd ever go to. I've never been to it yet, though.
That track's number one on my list.
Yeah, it looks super fast, and
I want to run a limited on it.
yeah, for sure.
Be so much fun. But if you weren't running Predator, what class do you think you'd be running right now?
Well, I'd have to eat some more ice cream, but super heavy again.
Super heavy again?
Yeah.
Man, that super heavy class is getting big.
Yeah, for sure.
What was it, 17 last weekend at VDKA?
It was a bunch, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was a lot of them.
Monk did really good in that one on the new kart.
Yeah, don't spoil anything. I'm going to ask him about it.
Yeah.
Has he got you?
What's that?
Has he got you trying to switch up again?
Well, we've been talking, and being that I'm on a team like that, it's really nice to be able to. He gets a lot of doors open for him, so it's nice that being on his teams, I get to walk through those doors with him sometimes too. So there's definitely things in the works, and you'll talk to him about that for sure.
Okay. All right. Thanks for not spoiling anything.
Yeah.
So with running up here at Del Mar, I wanted to ask you, okay, Del Mar is a really hard track, but is it the hardest track that you've had to run on as far as like physical on your body?
I want to say Albemarle is probably one of the tougher ones that I've been to. I did fall out the seat in Animal Super Heavy, but it was tough, but it wasn't the toughest. I'd say when Albemarle gets fast, that one's pretty tough on your body. And Albemarle is usually fast because Tate's got that thing right every weekend.
Tate's just the man anyway. He's the track whisperer.
He's insane.
And I have been on Albemarle and thinking, I've been on some really hard tracks. Not till you've been on Albemarle when she lights up.
Yeah.
So you're right about that one. Del Mar is a trick, but Albemarle is a trick too. It's its own monster.
I think Del Mar is a fun track to run because it's so small and you gotta drive. So if you get up on the wheel there, you can have a good time for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now running karts is amazing, and we love the karting family and everything like that. All the people and just the environment in general. But have you thought about running anything else, like maybe a car?
Yeah.
Late model?
I thought about them, those little mini mods. I was going to jump up to those when Hurley was doing them, but I don't know. It got too busy. I was traveling for work and didn't really have time for that. It's hard enough to get time for go-kart racing nowadays, let alone go to a car or something like that on one of those micros. But they'd definitely be fun. I'd love to run one of those one day.
Go down to Millbridge and take one down there.
Yeah. They look pretty sweet.
Now, as running with all the different people that you have, what is the best memory that you have as a buggy pusher? Not just as a driver, because you have a lot of experience with a lot of different people, and I can pick your brain for hours on hours on hours on hours on different experiences that you've had. But I want to know what your best memory at the racetrack is as not driving yourself.
When I was younger, I want to say I was with David Collins when we went to Daytona at Municipal Stadium, and I want to say it was open, and he come from like dead last, and I think Ron Moon was leading or something, and he run him down, but just ran out of laps. But just watching him come through the field, that was pretty awesome. And then being at like when Monk won the 5,000 at Paradise, that was pretty cool, for sure. But I've definitely got a lot, yeah, and hanging out with people in the trailers and just talking. There's definitely a lot of memories and lessons learned and stuff you feed off of everybody like that.
Now, before Monk comes on here, are you ready to be a dad when the time comes?
Yeah, 100%. I can't
Yeah,
wait. Yeah,
yeah. You gonna get some New Balance race shoes or what's up?
I already got the dad shoes. I just
You
need.
already got them?
Yeah, I need to get the fanny pack and some jean shorts.
Ah, some jorts, buddy.
And Nicole told me I couldn't wear them in the hospital though. She might have a little surprise when that baby comes out.
You need to throw on one of them little fake mullets they got with the bandana around the front
I wanted to do
with
that
the
for dinner.
jorts. Oh man, dude! When you told me, I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy for you. You and Nicole both. You're both really good people, and I've known you both now for for a while. Not a long, long while, but a long enough time to think a lot of both of you. And to see that y'all are doing that together is just awesome. It's
We're definitely excited about it.
That's awesome. And has she got plans to come back after?
No.
No,
I think she's fully retired.
it's a choice.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk her into one race though. Maybe she'll do a powder puff race or something.
She don't want to do a powder puff race. It won't be the same when she comes back out.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I think we got time for one more here. Let me make sure I'm not getting any no messages. Okay. So what are your plans for the future other than VDKA stuff? What you got going on, man?
Right now it's mainly just VDK. I think we're gonna go test some stuff here in the close future, and probably whichever door Monk opens, I'll just go with him on that journey. So, I'm hoping next year after the baby's born, everything else, all the smoke clears, I can maybe jump back in the seat a couple times, but I'll probably slow down for a couple years and then get back into it later on. Maybe she'll want to race. I don't know. We'll see.
You guys can share a seat.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Monk? All right. So we got Monk down here waiting, and I'm not nervous, but I was a little bit shaky about getting the two of you on here together. I've been in the pits with you guys. Y'all trip me out when I'm in the pits with y'all. Y'all are hilarious. So I got to focus on making sure I can stay on track here. But we're gonna go ahead and bring Monk on here and let you guys talk for a few minutes. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Just another day in paradise.
I don't have enough room on my phone.
Brian squinting. You need some reading glasses? All right. So we talked about you a little bit on here and some of the stuff that you guys have gotten to do together, but I wanted to ask you, having Brian in the pits with you, how much of a difference does Brian make since he's been able to work with the different people that he has and learn what he has? And he's great as a buggy pusher, as knowledge, and as just a friend in general. So what kind of difference does he make being in the pits with you?
When he stays there, he's real good help, but 9 times out of 10, he's gone. I had to send my girlfriend the other day on the golf cart to go find him to flip some tires. So when he stays at the trailer, he's real good help, but that's hard. That's few and far in between when he stays there.
What do you run off and do, Brian?
Talk to you.
A little bit of that, yeah. Sometimes. I'll tell him to go back next time I see him and be like, Brian, get back to the trailer.
Yeah, he knows tires always got to be flipped.
Now, and he mentioned also one of the best memories that he's had as a buggy pusher was when you win the 5,000 down to Paradise. Now, I know you guys you've had a little bit of different help in the pits here and there and stuff like that. You know, you got Paul now coming quite a bit to the track. So what's your best memory as a driver, Monk, that you've had winning a race?
Really, when I won the Fat Daddy, Bruce was there, but he wasn't there with me. But Bruce was there. Just running the Fat Daddy because we basically sucked all day. And we picked one set of tires out to win. That's when I was driving with David Mead. We picked one set of tires out that we were going to run the Fat Daddy, and we completely messed them up. We figured out at the second race when we went out there and sucked. We completely messed them up, and we didn't know what to do, so we just grabbed the set right off the rack, threw them on the go-kart. Me and him looked at each other and said, well, these are going to suck, and I think we won by straightaway at GKK when they told us you can't even pull away from nobody. and we were going by a whole straightaway, almost a half a track. So that was about the best memory because me and him both knew we were going to suck, and then we wound up being the fastest thing on the racetrack. So
it's usually good when that happens. You don't expect it to happen, but now with having to track down Brian, I know is a pain in the butt, but when what kind of difference has it made for working with other people? Have you had to utilize any of that knowledge with him? Have you guys conferred any, or you just kind of let him do his thing?
he knows how I want the go-kart. I mean, he knows it's got to be blowed off, and he knows I want my tires flipped. He could just look at me, and I got a whole stack of tires sitting there, and I kind of give him the eyeball. He gives me the eyeball, and he'll go to flipping tires. I mean, just it's all important. I mean, everybody knows what they got to do. I mean, we got a real good team now between me and Paul and Taylor and Brian, and then when Bodine and Brad's there, everybody knows what they got to do, and most time you ain't got to tell nobody, just already get it done. So it all works out pretty well. And I can just stay in the trailer and try to figure out which tires to put on everybody.
I definitely think that Paul is the backbone of the team for sure.
Especially when he cooks breakfast.
Yeah. I might have to get Paul on the show at one point, but I don't know if he's going to want to say much.
Oh, he will.
He might. But I know you guys have known each other for how long now? Since you said 2014, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
yep.
Monk was driving that big red body in the EL class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they called it the Christmas tree.
I think that was the Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old Shadow, the lone Shadow.
Yeah. So when you were, Brian, was that about the same time you bought the Triton?
Yeah, I went, picked it up from Jerry Mullis, and on the way back, I remember I either called Monk or FaceTimed him or something and showed it to him in the back of my truck, and then went from there. That was it.
So
I didn't ride that go-kart too much because I ended up getting a Charger, and then I went on a spree where I'd get like a new go-kart every like 2 a year or something just to try and figure something new out. But
well, you answered my question anyway, so I didn't have to ask it. So when Brian's telling you, when he's coming to you, Monk, and he's telling you he wants to race, when he decided he wanted to run Predator, was there a moment when you were like kind of shaking your head, or did you go, that's going to work for you right there?
I've been telling them for 4 years he need to run Predator. As soon as they come out there, I tell them, I said, that's your class right there, Brian. They run all the time. You couldn't even hear him. I said, that's your class right there. Because he cannot hold it wide open on a clone to save his life. I love him to death, but he can't hold it wide open. But we getting there. We working on it. But
he already said that a while ago. He said you guys get on him for not holding it open.
I won't lie.
No, you won't, apparently. He's already said it now. Oh, man. So when you're deciding to go run a race and you're, you might be going down to Tri-County, is Brian still about one of the first people that you're going to – oh, we lost Monk. I was going to ask if you were the first one he usually called. Oh, there he is.
Well, I can answer that question.
Okay.
Paul's probably the first one now. Being that my baby's coming and everything, I've kind of backed off from all the traveling and stuff. So usually Paul's the number one.
Paul's the number one. Monk's
Paul's
coming back.
Yeah, Paul's definitely the biggest help in that pits for sure. That guy works his butt off.
Yeah, I've seen him in the pits. He does. He works his butt off, man.
Him and Taylor, actually, they both do a really good job.
Can you hear me, Monk? I guess not.
Where he lives at, there's hardly any signal, so.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. He told me that earlier, too, so it's all right. Yeah. But let's see if there's anything else I got for both of y'all. I knew I had another question for both of y'all. Oh, when who came up with the sticker for the sauce? Was that Monk or was that Taylor?
Actually, that was a combination of me and him, I think. When he was starting his prep line, we would just go back and forth all the time. It was like a whole team thing. We'd all just bounce. We've got a group text message that's been going on for probably 2 years or a year maybe, and we just all throw in stuff. So Monk's pretty good about listening to our ideas. We usually come up with some of the stuff's a little too much. You can't put it out there because there's children. So we got we got to tone it down and try to keep it professional.
Yeah, I think we have. Well, I don't think I know. We have like a team chat too. So I don't think ours gets that bad, but
ours gets a little.
Yeah, we got Dustin and Taylor in there who are like, they're pretty mellow across the board.
Yeah.
So, Monk, are you there?
He just texted me and said his Wi-Fi cut off.
Oh shit! Oh shoot!
But yeah, if you've ever been in the pits with me and Monk together, I'm sure you can understand what our group chat is like.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That's the one time I went down there with both of y'all in the pits. We were at Tri-County. Yep, and me and Taylor came down and Dustin came down. And that's when I was kind of starting to talk to Monk about running some and here and there with him and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's still fighting it. He's trying to come back on, and up there he is. Can you hear me? He said a bird flies by the Wi-Fi and it cuts off.
Yeah, bird flies by and that's it. The Wi-Fi's down for 10 minutes.
Oh man. So I asked Brucey and he answered if he's the first one that you call when you're deciding to go to the racetrack, and he said it's Paul. Is that about right?
Well, yeah, I got to tell Paul first because Bruce, 9 times out of 10 nowadays, Bruce ain't gonna go anyway. So I know Paul's my go-to guy. So I knew Paul gonna go. So then I'll tell Bruce and he'll wait to write down the list of excuses that he's already given me that he can't go this weekend. So
I bet is that going to be a pretty long list?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I understand the family life, so I still give him hell, but I still understand.
So now that Brucey's going into the family life, kind of a little bit what he's going through, and you said you understand it a little bit, but is it kind of like going through it a second time since you and Bruce got so close for a while for you?
Well, yeah, he's basically almost lived my life for me, the ups and downs and everything. He's been here through it all, so he already knows how the family life goes. So he's just basically going in for the second time. I feel like he shouldn't nothing be a surprise to him.
Oh, not at all.
Now, I've already asked you guys' best memory together at the racetrack. Do you guys hang out much away from the racetrack?
Yeah, when we get a chance. We live so far apart that it's kind of hard, but there's been weeks where I'll come down during the week just to hang out, work on go-kart stuff. And I've been hunting at Monk's farm before a couple times, and we definitely do other stuff than just race now that we've built a relationship, a friendship over the years.
I knew he was going to say that.
A bromance.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
about right.
bromance.
So what is usually, when you're around somebody so much, you build a lot of memories. Are your best memories at the racetrack, or have you guys got a lot of memories away from the racetrack that you might hold a little bit higher?
I mean, nothing can stand out that's crazy right now, but I would say the racetrack stuff for sure is the happier stuff. Yeah.
All right. So I've already asked pretty much the big questions for you guys. Is there anything you guys want to say to each other before we get off of here and let Monk get some time?
No, you can tell me later.
All right. All right, Brian. Well, thanks for coming on here, buddy. It was really good talking to you, and we might try and get you back on here in the future. I got a bunch more questions I want to ask you.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate
it. Well,
all right, man. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Take it easy. Bye. All right, Mr. Monk Newsome. How you doing, man?
I'm doing right good. I'm trying to the daggone sound's going out again. I'm trying to figure it out. Trying to get on the other phone here.
Are you patchy?
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you again. Maybe Bruce was messing up. I don't know.
Yeah, it runs a little slow when there's 3 people on.
Yeah, there we go. Now I can hear you good. It was sounding like a robot, but I got you now.
All right. So, Monk, I've known you for a long time. I said it when the show started up. I've known you since I was running Junior 3 down in Margarettsville, and you were running against my dad and my uncle in Flathead. So,
yeah.
How's it feel knowing that you came from Friday night at Margarettsville to where you are now as, I'd say, top of the line, top 3 to 5 in the country, easily top 3 to 5, wherever they rank, depending on momentum, is in the super heavy class. How's it feel to know that that's where you started and where you are now?
Well, that's where I always wanted to get to. I didn't ever think I was going to get there, but that's what I always wanted to get to. I mean, it's tough. I feel like I took the hard road to figure out everything. Back then when we were racing against y'all, I mean, my daddy was basically doing everything. All I was doing was driving. Then the tire game got really, really involved. And, he's just like every other old person. He's old school. It worked last year. We won 5 years ago, so I know it can win now, but it can't. We got different tires. We went from blues to pinks and thins and thicks and offset go-kart, well, straight go-karts to offset go-karts. And, he's one of them, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it got wheel broke and he still wouldn't fix it. So I went to driving for myself. I called for myself. I took all the stuff we had and started doing it myself when we were 16. And, I mean, shoot, we go to Margarettsville. I mean, Margarettsville was the place to be. That's still my home track, even though they don't race that much. But Margarettsville was the place to be. I mean, they had every series come through there. And, I mean, most time, if you can make the field of Margarettsville, you get talk crap to everybody because most time locals wouldn't even make the field. But it feels good to get where I'm at, but I still want to get better. I mean, I got a good team around me. We started the prep deal. I didn't ever think that was going to take off. And that really, really took off. I try to focus on that, the customer support. All prep, like I told when I make that long post, everybody says I didn't make that long post, but I do have a little smartness in me every now and then. But, all prep is the same, basically. Some of us a little stronger than others, some of us a little watered down than others, but really you need to go where the technical support is, where you can call somebody, you can text them. Even when I'm at the racetrack, I got people in Iowa, Florida, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and I mean, they'll text me, and most time I'm on the racetrack. When I get back in, I'll reply to them what I think, even though I ain't there, what I think they need to do. And I mean, most time it works out for them. So.
Yeah, I think building on that support line is definitely what has pushed your prep line to where it is. And I definitely watched it grow, and I've been impressed with it. So, but on top of the prep line, you had a basis already you've won a lot of races. You've won a lot of big races. Like you mentioned, the Fat Daddy. That was a really big race. And, people are going to come to you regardless. And I'm sure, you've had people come to you to do tires. I think you did a couple sets for me before in the past, whether it was, for different things. But people are going to come to you for that anyway. So you might as well kind of make it a thing. And I think you've done really well with that, like you said, with the support and making the long post. I read the long post. I think it was perfect. But what made you decide to do the prep line?
Well, I mean, we raced together. When I got off of Shadows and I got off of ELs, I didn't know nothing hardly about pinks because I focused on ELs on my Shadows. So I went with him. Me and him had to figure out how to work together. And I mean, we gelled very well. And then when me and him split, just like everything, good things got to come to an end. So when me and him split, we're still friends. We still talk. He still worries the hell out of me. And when me and him split, I started doing my own thing, and I was using everybody's prep. I was using some here, some yonder. And, it's hard. It's hard to say. And then one guy, I was at Capital City one day, and I sucked. And I said, something ain't making right because I got 2 sets, one poke 50, one poke 70. And I can't figure out why because I done them the same, figured out the same. And he asked me, he said, who prep are you using? I said, I'm using old so-and-so. I ain't going to throw nobody in the bus. I said, I'm using old so-and-so right there. He said, well, as many races you won, you and me together and stuff, y'all made your own prep. Why don't you make your own prep? And I went home and I dreamed about it and thought about it for about a week. And I said, you know what? That makes sense. But I made sure I didn't copy nothing me done because you know how he is. But
yeah.
he used to make all our own prep. But I didn't make sure I didn't copy nothing he done, but I just started from scratch. And like I said, I always take the hard way, but I don't try to, but I always take the hard way of everything. And I just kept doing stuff and it didn't work. When I finally figured out what worked, then I said, well, then I added the scents and dyes because it was just clear. Don't nobody prep sailing is like anything else. They want something flashy. They want to smell good. They want to look good. And I like the smell too. It's real nice when you open the trailer and the whole trailer smells like watermelon. But so I started that, and I mean it blowed up. But like I said, I tried to really push the technical support because I mean I don't know how to say it, but back then I mean I have been a nobody. I have started from. I still feel like I'm a nobody, but I've started from the bottom, and I have asked the big name people, for preps and stuff. Oh yeah, give me $200, give me $300, I'll hook you up. As soon as you get it, as soon as you give them the money, that's it. They don't know you from nobody else. You walk around track, you feel special. Like, hey, I bought some prep for you. They look at you like, I don't care. Yeah. So I mean, I try to really push the technical support aspect of it. I mean, no matter who you are, you can come in the trailer. I show you the tires I'm doing. I show you, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm always wiping my prep, the same prep you sell. I have shown people, they bought a gallon from, and I open it up, pour it right on my tires, wipe it, go out there and win on it. I said, see, I mean, run the same inside, same outside, same everything. So, that way it helps. I would say 85% of the people that make prep don't run what they make. And 85% of the people that sell prep don't even make their own prep, but we make all our own, and we run what we got. That way, I feel like it's better for me to help you when I'm actually running what you're on.
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree with that, and I figured it was something along those lines for starting the prep line. And you're right. I know how David is too with that stuff. Like, so starting from scratch was probably the best thing you could do. And I think it's come around really fast already, and whatever you're doing is working. So keep doing that. Now, I know I mentioned already that Brian won. So for this past weekend at VDKA, first race of the VDKA season, are you going to run all 6 VDKA races?
Well, we weren't planning on it. Well, most time we don't. I mean, we try to run all the big money races, and most time they always fall on the VDK. But last weekend was an open weekend, and then plus with the tire shortage, is kind of, it's hard for us to go run big races because we can't get no tires, and everybody considers me as an upper class racer, but I mean we can't even get no tires. Can't nobody get no tires. So like the real big people are the ones getting tires, and I'm not gonna waste all the money to go run against them when I ain't even got a set of tires in a month and a half. I ain't done no tires since the end of April. So as of right now, we probably will. We're gonna try to stay local, try to help our local people out more. I mean, I enjoyed the VDK race. I love VDK. I always said they had the best banquets. I tell everybody that every year. I mean, we won Mid-Atlantic, Tri-State, Nationals, and I always say VDK is always the best banquet. Besides the little fluffy bunny thing they always do, that gets a little worrisome. But other than that, it's always the best banquet. Like gifts, gifts and what you get. I mean, you really get a good bang for your buck. So we probably will run it because I'm going to try to stay local more between personal life and, like I said, can't get no tires and work and all that. So we're going to try to stay local more. And it's very enjoyable to go to VDK and see all the people that I've been talking to on Facebook and text messages and calling that I ain't seen personally because I don't run local stuff. I'm always in South Carolina and Georgia. So it was real enjoyable. I mean, I looked one time and it was like 10, 15 people just hanging out in the trail, just talking. So it's real fun running closer to home.
Yeah, and even if, it might not just be the people that you are just meeting, but a lot of people that you do already know, you don't get to see very often when you're running that far away. Yeah. But and now that Margarettsville has in recent years come back into VDKA schedule, is that another reason too that really helps, like making you want to run VDKA?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's 15 minutes from the house. So, I mean, anytime you can practice starts at 9 and you can wake up at 8:30 and make it on time for practice, that makes it real nice because, like I said, we always 9 times out of 10, every racetrack we go to 3, 4, 5 hours away. So that stuff gets old.
It does. You're right. And what other series have you guys got planned this year that you really want to hit? I know the tire shortage is kind of throwing a wrench in that, but if say that changes here in the next couple weeks or so, and you're able to get some stuff going again, what kind of series are you looking at running?
We were running the GOAT series. I won it 2 years in a row. I'm not going to win it this year because I've sucked. I think they've had two or three. I've sucked in every one of them. We had a string of about a month and a half. We all sucked. So, but we still probably run the GOAT series. We hit WK races here and there. Now we're probably focused on the WKA. The VDKA, and probably gonna run the UKS, even though that's kind of in the dark thing right now since I'm not running. Everybody's got to run the same chassis, so that's kind of in the dark thing right now because we don't really know what chassis we're running at the moment. So.
Yeah, and I know this past weekend you guys were on that Footloose chassis, right? Was that your first time out on it?
Yeah, it was my first time out on it. We pitted together a Triple T. Me and Austin, the guy who builds the go-karts, we pitted together a Triple T. And then right after the race, he was like, "You want to take it home and try it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it." And I got it all set up for me. And we took it to VDK. I was just going to give it a good shakedown. I figured I knew we were going to have good people there. And the capital city I usually struggle at. So, I figured if I shake it down, get a good top 3, top 5 out of it, it'd be a good day. And I didn't even, it really, really surprised me. It turned too good, which is a good thing to have. You can always slow it down. It's hard to speed it up, but you can always slow it down. And just to roll off the corners, it really impressed me.
Yeah, and I was impressed with the move I think you made in the, I think it was the pro race. You had already won the heavy race, and I think it was Tim and Austin Wyatt got to racing, and you kind of just dipped right by and checked out. Did you already know that you were faster than both of them, or did you just see that move made and you just kind of jumped?
Well, I was riding in third. Like I said, I still feel, even though I won the first race, I hadn't had a whole lot of laps on the go-kart. And so I was kind of feeling it out in third. Because go-kart handle different and, in air or not in air. When you lead the race, the go-kart handles a whole lot different than when you in a pack or behind stuck up somebody's butt. So I was kind of figuring out, how the go-kart was handling behind Timmy and White in dirty air, I guess you call it if you were NASCAR. And so I was kind of riding behind them. I fell back a little bit and I ran back up there and catch them, but I couldn't really never, set it up like I wanted it to. And by that time, Timmy dive bomb White going into turn 1, and both of them washed up. And I figured now was my time, and I turned the wheel, she turned, and I went on by, and it worked out good.
Yeah, I think you checked out pretty far at the end of that race. And you guys got any plans on running that anywhere else, or are you just gonna that one time?
Oh, I still got in the shop. We're gonna run to Kinley this weekend. I got some more go-karts. I still got people calling. It's just, you kind of want, it's just like the prep deal. You kind of want where your best support is, Mm-hmm. Free stuff's always great, but free stuff that don't win ain't no good. So we're just trying to, figure out what the best support is. And, even if it's like a small company like Footloose and then another big company, if both of the go-karts run the same, I really go to Footloose because the small company, I really help somebody out like that than a big company. But right now we're leaning towards the Footloose, but like I said, we got 2 or 3 go-karts in the shop, and we're going to be riding another one this weekend, and always open. Sooner or later, we'll figure it out. It will be real soon.
I'm sure it helps, too, that I think Eddie, he kind of pushes the Footloose chassis, doesn't he? Miss you?
Yeah. Him and that guy work together real good, and so, him and Brad Page are the ones that, kind of persuaded me to try it out. So, which I'm glad they did because it really impressed me. That go-kart is a real good go-kart.
What kind of difference has it made bringing on Eddie Mishu as an engine builder?
It really helped. I always said you need it's hard. I know it's real hard, but I always said you need like an engine builder that don't race. It's kind of like when I was with Schumacher a long time ago. He didn't race himself, of course he did every now and then, but he didn't race himself. So it's always good to have an engine builder that don't race. That way you kind of know you get a good even motor. Because it's just natural habit. I buy a motor for, I don't even know what the motor is nowadays, almost probably $2,000, but $1,500-$1,600. And, he builds me a motor, and then just like the best motor he's ever built. And he races too every weekend. You think I'm going to get that motor? Probably not. I probably get the motor he's been racing, does all right, but I didn't get the motor I really bought. So, but I mean, Mishu, he's got real good power. I've tried to explain to people, and I've ran other motors and stuff, and I try to explain to people, dyno numbers help, but on the track numbers of my butt really, really helps. And just, it's there. It's always there. I can hit somebody and the power's right back there. And I can, turn and bog the motor, bog the go-kart, and it's there. Where other motors, I always call it gets to a lap and a half wind up again. You ever mess up, slip, had to tap the brake or whatever, it's the lap and a half wind up until you get back up to full speed again.
Yep. And I never ran Eddie's clones, but I can tell you right now, we were on his flatheads and his animals, and they were about the same. But I saw you get on Eddie's program, on his engines, and I knew some people were in trouble. I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew some people were in trouble when you got with Eddie. That was a good combination. And
yeah, he's real good on motors. And like I said, I mean, he built go-karts. He makes prep and still makes it. And he has built go-karts. He's real good help all around. If I happen to be lost on anything, he's real good on telling me, pointing me back in a good direction.
Yeah, for sure. He was always real knowledgeable anytime I was ever speaking to him too. Is there a track, by the way, just kind of a random change, is there a track that you haven't ran at that you really want to run at? I know you've been around a lot of them.
Yeah, I always go south. I always like going south. I don't know why. I really don't ever go north or west. But I want to go to Hunterstown. It seems like a real tight bull ring, and I was looking at it on Race Mile the other day because I had a whole bunch of customers went up there, and I mean, I think they were turning, I don't remember, like 9-10 second laps or something. I mean, it was real, real low, and I said, that seems fun right there. I like a good turning racetrack, short, fast, where you got to drive the hell out of it. These long, it's kind of like NASCAR. For some odd reason, go-karts want to go to the longest racetrack they can find, and for some odd reason, everybody likes it. But I think it's boring as hell that somebody's a half a second slower than you can draft off your butt for 19 and a half laps and then knock you out on the back straightaway and win. And, on a real racetrack, he wouldn't even stay on the same straightaway with you. So,
yeah, I can tell you right now, if you're looking for a track like that, Del Mar up here in Delaware, I don't know if you've been up there, but that's a bull ring.
Yeah, I hadn't. Like I said, I don't go up north. I want to try, but it never really works out. Most time when I map it out is always a big old traffic jam in Washington, D.C., and we wind up going south.
Yeah, or the bridge gets shut down. That Big Bay Bridge gets shut down for wind or something.
Yep.
Now, is there any, not necessarily series, but is there a big race this year coming up that you haven't been hitting that you really want to hit?
No, not really. I mean, we were going to go to the AJC race this weekend in Georgia, but like I said, the tire shortage and stuff, and I mean, me and him talked about it. It's just some people getting tires and some other people ain't getting tires. It just ain't fair for everybody to go spend. I mean, because my money spends just like everybody else's money spends. So, it's kind of not fair that some people can get tires, some people can't. And so I ain't going to even go. I can't waste my time or effort on that. But as far as series, I mean, it really ain't none. We try to hit most of them up. I might try to go back to Nationals this year because I ain't been to Nationals since I won it in 2015. So might try to actually go back to that this year.
How about the Big O? You going to try and hit that one?
Yeah, we went. I think we went last year. Yeah, we went last year because we've been a go-kart. So, yeah, we've got to go to Big O. I mean, that's always a fun race. I mean, anytime you can run limiters, that's always fun. We hardly ever get to run limiters. I see everybody on Facebook, I think, this week crying because we ain't run no limiters modifieds in a long time. So, everybody loves them. I mean, even if you don't run them, they always love them. That's one thing I ain't won on yet is a limited. I have been leading the race many a time, and the motor's cut off. The motor's cut off for 3/4 of the race, and they finally get back going at the end, or just have straight up bad luck if the motor happened to run.
So let me ask you, you've been around this for a long time. You worked with a lot of different people. You've won a lot of different races. If somebody was coming into the sport right now and came to you and say they have a 12-year-old kid and they needed the best piece of advice that you could give them, what would be your best piece of advice you could give a kid coming into the sport right now?
Seat time. Go locally. I mean, local. Like I said, we always run all the big tracks nowadays, but I love going local races, and I mean, just giving our support. I mean, they need seat time. They need to run local races. I've seen it too many times. Their parents think because I spent $10,000-$15,000 with one of the 5 biggest names in go-kart racing. My kid went out there for 2 months and sucked. Either you ain't doing my stuff right, or or we're quitting and going to race cars or dirt bikes or something. But I mean, go-kart racing is all seat time. I always said, you got to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win, and that's the sucky part about it. But you got to learn how to lose on every part of it. Leading the race, you got to learn how to get there. You got to learn how to lead, and then you got to learn how to win. And all part of that is going to be about 15 million things of losing. So you got to learn how to lose before you can win. And local races is definitely the way to do that.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And other than, let me see where I was going. I kind of lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. Other than, the just running by yourself, have you thought about bringing a junior driver on with you and letting him run?
Well, we got Blade Massigue. He runs Junior 3. He's won a couple races this year with us. Last year we had Cam Boyd ran Junior 3. And, of course, he moved up now to amateur and semi-pro. But, we won a buttload of races last year with him. And then the end of last year, beginning of this year, he's going to get mad at me because I can't remember the name. Colt Breeden. He run red plate last year. He had just started getting on my stuff, and he actually won a couple races with me there and not there, me just telling him what to do. And now I think this year he moved up to Junior 1. And, like I said, he's just like every other junior driver. He needs seat time. But, so we got some junior drivers.
Well, that's good. You don't hear about that as much anymore nowadays. And I think it's good to promote the junior drivers more than anything, because with the dwindling class sizes and some of the stuff, we really need the kids to stay in the sport. So, let me see. I can't read the clock from here. I'm sorry. All right, we're right at 7 o'clock. I know you got a bunch of stuff you got to do just to get ready for whatever you might be running this weekend. I know you said AJC maybe, but whatever you decide to do, I'll give you some time. You can go ahead and get your stuff ready. But thanks for coming on here. I really appreciate it. It was a really good conversation with you. And, we'll get you back on here before long. Hopefully we can get you back on here after you win another big race or something.
Yeah, hopefully I can go win some more races and get back on there. Like I said, we hadn't won that in hardly 2 months. So I'm glad you had me on. Yeah,
like I said, I really appreciate it. It was really good talking to you. And I wish you the best going forward this season, man. I'll see you at the racetrack, all right?
All right, Timbo. Yeah, I'll see you.
All right, guys. That's our show with Brian and Monk. That was a good episode, I think. I do believe that they have a lot of information that they can give us, that they can pass along, a lot of advice they can give. They're two really knowledgeable guys. And I just wanted to say thanks for having them on here. And thanks for everybody for commenting. I see everybody in the comments. Paul and Andrew and Elaine and Mike, I see you on there. All of you guys, thank you so much for commenting. Mike Hurley and Mike Jarrett, Chris Beasley, all you guys. Thank you guys for following and watching and commenting, and for all of our reactions that we got. I appreciate it. And, now we get to look forward to next week. Again, that's the great thing about this show, having one every single week, is when you finish one, you get to look forward to the next one again, and it's going to be a great one. So next week on the show, our first guest is going to be Mr. Dustin Pleasanton at 6 o'clock. So we'll start the show with Dustin and, ask him some questions, get to know him a little bit more for you guys, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And we can kind of go from there. And until then, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for, like I said, all the comments and reactions. Share the page, like the page, follow the page, whatever you got to do with that. And I hope you like the banner. I'm loving the banner. Thanks to David Nettles and Nettles Designs for all of this huge banner. Our show logo, the whole logo was designed by David, and everything. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and we're on Twitter and Facebook. And if you guys need anything, if you want to get in contact with me, you can use this email right here. If you got somebody you want to see on the show, if you're not messaging me on Facebook and you want a more direct way to get a hold of me, that's my email right there. And I get it right on my phone. I can answer it in 5 minutes. So if anybody needs anything, just send me a message on there. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week at 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching.